Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And this is Maggie who has just taken a bath. Anyway, today's topic is impulse and what, if any, connection impulse might have to inspiration. And I think it'll be a fun conversation. So before we get started, though, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen just flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing every cell, every organ, enlivening and invigorating your physical body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any negativity, fatigue, stress, tension. And let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out. And every molecule, every electron electrified and energized, illuminated and enlightened. And imagine all your cells just glowing with this brilliant, bright light from the inside out, allowing you to shine into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, any remaining stress, any fatigue, negativity. And now let's gently press our palms together. Just really softly rub your fingers against your palms and feel how wonderful that sensation is to bring yourselves here present to your body right here, right now. Welcome, welcome. It's great to be here with you as always. And Maggie decided to take a bath this morning in my water glass. And so that's why she looks so bedraggled. But periodically, she loves to take a bath. What can I say? And it's really a funny thing to watch, actually, because she sort of dives her chest into the water at the top of the glass, and then flicks her wings to spread the water everywhere. Anyway, this morning's topic is good morning, Irma. Good morning. It's great to see you. So yeah, I you said you were going to ask that morning. I'm wondering if it was, you saw her all bedraggled. Good morning, Tammy. Maggie looks all ratty this morning because she decided to take a bath in my water glass. So that's what she does periodically. It's a riot. It's so funny to watch. Anyway, we are talking today um, about impulse and the connection that there may be between impulse and inspiration. So I talk a lot about inspiration and moving. Hello, Noel. Welcome. For the first time I've seen your name here. Great to have you here with us. We're talking about impulse today and how it may be connected with inspiration. Good morning, Robert. Wonderful to have you here with us. This crazy bird took a bath in my water glass and now she's shivering. Go figure. Anyway, um, impulse. The thing that brought this up for me is that I have been uh, playing in the cryptocurrency arena, doing some investing, and I've been watching certain investments, but but just this morning I decided to sort of pull the trigger and invest in something that I hadn't even been watching that much lately. Good morning, Christina. Wonderful, wonderful to have you here. Thank you for being here. As always, all of you. It's great to be here with you. So, what 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 I noticed is that this was really interesting. I had looked at this opportunity previously, and this morning I just did it, and it wasn't easy either to make this investment. It was unfamiliar and a little bit anxiety. I experienced some anxiety around it because I didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, I pulled the trigger. And it was interesting to me to be looking at myself and saying, okay, so why did I do that? There was this really powerful impulse to make this move. Do I know if it's going to be a good one or not? No, I don't. But I had somehow I was inspired, or my intuition said to dig into this thing, and as I dug into it, I just had the impulse to say, okay, I'm doing it. And so I wonder if you have experienced in your life times when you have had an impulse to do something just kind of out of the blue, that turned into something that opened a door for you. So for instance, maybe something crosses your email and it's an invitation or a promotion for a certain program or something, and you read it, you have an intuition about it, and you just take action, where you're just inspired to jump into action. And I wonder, it was kind of like Maggie jumping into my water glass. Just she had an impulse to go take a bath this morning. So Robert says, interesting. I was thinking of investing in something related to crypto, but I was kind of waiting and postponing it. So here's the thing. There are a bunch of crypto investments that I've been watching that I have been waiting and postponing, with an expectation that I would get involved, but I've been watching and waiting. Whereas this, I just was like, boom, I'm in. And it was really interesting to me to see that I did that, like why this one versus all these others that I've been watching. And I really didn't have a second thought about it. And so that's just an example, but I'm wondering where in your life you may have had an impulse, maybe to go to an event, or go to a bookstore, or go to a coffee shop, and just on impulse, and then something magical happened as a result of that. So my thinking is, I'm not talking about like reactive impulses, like impulse buying kind of thing, although I am talking about buying crypto, so maybe it was an impulse buy. But not like retail therapy kind of impulse buying. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something where you just have a sense, and there's no resistance at all, where you just take action. So there's an inspiration or an intuition perhaps, and then there's action. And I think it's pretty interesting to notice these moments. I don't know about for you. I'm not aware that they may happen a lot more frequently than I recognize in my life, because I tend to follow my intuition more. And when it leads me, like an impulse to just call somebody out of the blue. I have a great story about that. So Robert said, I had an impulse to create a master class about crystals. I took action, and now the registration for the webinar is open. That's awesome, Robert. You know what? Go for a shameless plug. Put a link in the chat so people can see where they could register for your course. I'm fine with that, especially because you didn't solicit it. So I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful course. Anyway, so here was a situation where an impulse led me into a wonderful opportunity that has really shaped my life for the past several years. I was in a coaching course, and there was an assignment to do something called the Power Hour. And what that was to pick up the phone and call people that I hadn't been in touch with for a long time, without any particular agenda, but just to connect. And so, the people that I put on that list, it was kind of like, oh, okay, I'll call this one, I'll call that one. And one of the people that I called ended up becoming my co-founder in Sustainability Now. And that's the podcast that I've been doing for the past 3 years. And it's opened up worlds of opportunity and connections and relationships that I couldn't have even begun to predict. So that was an amazing impulse. And there have been other times, for instance, when I've been trying to reach a friend, for example, and then just in a moment, I would get their answering machine, or they wouldn't be available, or whatever, and then then I would get an impulse to call, and they would answer the phone and say, "I was just thinking of you." And interesting. Maybe I'm wondering if you can source for us today, share any experiences of an impulse that you had driven by inspiration to do something, take action on something that then came to remarkable fruit. Maybe you had an impulse to say hi to a stranger and ended up in a remarkable conversation. I know that that has happened for um, several people that I know, that it just in a chance encounter, being inspired, having an impulse to say hello or to reach out or something, to start generating a conversation that could be life changing. So all these amazing synchronicities. I think, in our culture, we talk about somebody being impulsive in a negative way. But what I'm looking to explore with you is these positive, connected, intuitive, inspired impulses that we have in our lives. So Robert says, yay, thank you. It's available on my website. So this is Robert's Crystal Masterclass. And the website is robertdosa.com. That's dosa.com/shop. The first product, called Crystal's Masterclass. Upon purchase, there will be 2 downloads: my first book about crystals and a text containing a link to the registration page on the website platforms. So, shameless plug for Robert. Congratulations on your course, and may it be filled to the brim with people that are inspired and enriched by it, Robert. So, yeah, what other impulses, what kinds of experiences have you had that are based on impulse, that may have come from nowhere? That you just, it came out of the blue and you followed it, and bam, something amazing happened as a result. So Christina says, I'm booking an Airbnb and heading to hike in the Blue Ridge and Shenandoah Mountains in a month. Does that count? I think it does. When you finally pull the trigger and you do something, right? Not like thinking and thinking and thinking, but like when you finally just take the plunge. Good for you, Christina. That sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing. Um, yeah. So one of the impulses um, I had was to start digging into the RVs and RV lifestyle. And actually, I had been thinking about it for a long time, and then I just decided to go and check one out. And that was an impulse to check it out. I can't say that it's led any place definitive at the moment, but it was, I felt the impulse to do that. And I wonder, as we look at the actions we take and the actions we don't take, which actions come from inspiration, and how do we recognize and identify the actions that are coming from inspiration rather than the actions that are coming from a driven doingness. And that's kind of the essence of where I'm looking to live from, is to be living from the inner inspirational doing rather than the external objective, setting goals, setting external um, um, what do they call them? Boy, landmarks or come on, help me out here. Um, External markers, landmarks, objectives, whatever. You'll help me with the right word. It's escaping me at the moment. So Robert says, many years ago, I had an impulse to spend New Year's Eve with some friends in the center of Bucharest at a concert. It's there that I met one of my twin flames. Well, a crystal agate slice pendant had a part to play in that too. Well, that's what I'm talking about impulse. So you had this impulse, you joined your friends and had an incredible meeting. So that came from inspiration and maybe your agate slice, Robert. But thank you for sharing that. Exactly what I'm talking about. And Elaine says, yes, my intuition or inner guidance gets me to go places. And when I get there, there's always someone needing to hang out or to assist in raising vibrational frequencies in stores and other places. Awesome experiences as I love to serve. We get that so deeply about you, Elaine, that you are in such deep service. And I love that you shared that you just go to places to and with an open heart, open mind, and magic happens. You're welcome, Robert. And Elaine says, happy now, all. Beautiful, Elaine. Thank you. So, yeah, what other kinds of inspired action have you taken? This impulse to register for some kind of course or event that ended up being life changing, or um, maybe even an impulse to share something in a conversation that you might not otherwise share. And as a result, it opens up all kinds of other possibility. So, I hadn't before coming up with this conversation around impulse, I hadn't really connected what takes inspiration from the experience of being inspired into the experience of activity or action expression in the world. And I'm wondering, as we presence ourselves, where does that, what's the mechanism by which that impulse emerges? How does that evolve? How does it percolate and come to a place where we actually move from this place of inertia to action? It may be that the inspiration is something that is a latent, is the latent action, nascent action, that it's it's pre-action action, maybe, is the inspiration. I'm wondering. Robert says agate slices can be programmed to help an individual achieve one goal. Unfortunately, it works only once and then it leaves. Interesting. Interesting. So then, can you reprogram that same agate slice, or is it one shot per slice for its lifetime? I wonder. So, um, I I am excited actually in thinking about the mechanism of inspired action. I'm wondering if you have any insights into how that works for you. Irma says, I stopped due to lack of trust, I think. Well, Irma, there are things that I know that you have done that were impulses. So I think a lot of us stop due to lack of trust, but then there are other things that we do. So what I'm looking at is what is it that has us move into action when we do. So for instance, Irma, I know you went and danced in the rain. So that was an impulse. That was absolutely an impulse. I think it was an impulse for me to go and take a cold shower for the first time in years and years on Monday. It was an inspiration, and then I actually did it. Like I thought about it for a second, and then it was like, I'm gonna do it, and I did it. And so I wonder, what is it? What is the underlying mechanism that has this stuff happen? Um, that actually moves us into action. So Robert says, for the sliced agate, one shot per slice per individual. Well, interesting. So the idea is you get one agate slice, you do your thing with it, and then gift it to somebody else, perhaps. Elaine says, replying to Irma, that Irma stops due to lack of trust. And Elaine says, that happens to all of us, but we can change our mind and try again when we're ready, love. So, exactly. I think, so for me, back to this crypto thing, I've been looking at different crypto investments for a while, and I've been not taking the plunge, not taking the plunge for weeks and weeks. And then this thing came across me, my radar this morning, and it was like, bam! I just did it. I didn't think about I'll do it later. I jumped through all the hoops and I did it this morning. I have no idea why. I don't know that it's that much better an investment than anything else. It actually had come across my desk a couple weeks ago, perhaps. And I was curious about it, but today I just did it. And there are others that I've been watching and waiting and, you know, thinking about investing in, but I didn't. I just took the plunge today. No idea why. Just inspired, but it was impulse, inspired and impulsive. Action, inspired action, acting on the impulse. So, what else? What else might be examples of these impulses that have? I don't even know if this is going to open up a wonderful opportunity or doorway for me or not. But what are other examples in your life, maybe, that you were just inspired to take a certain action and something amazing happened out of it? Um, I often I remember actually once I was just had an inspired impulse to go to Starbucks, and when I was there I met some people that were forwarding what I was up to, and it was just crazy things like that. So Robert is still talking about the agate. Yes, after achieving its purpose, it either leaves or you pass it on to someone else. Strangely, though, I tried giving it to the twin flame, but she wasn't able to hold it. It was like it had an electrocution effect on her. Wow, that's kind of freaky. Wild stuff. So all of this stuff is good fodder for folks to go and check out your crystal masterclass to learn more about all this wild mineral energy that we can connect with and collaborate with in shaping our lives. So anyway, we're talking about impulse, and I hope that you've found this to be as actually curious as I do, in that I'm always looking. I'm always curious about how things work, and I am definitely curious about how this kind of dynamic, because of inspired action. I'm very curious about how does that get activated, and frankly, I don't know. I I'm looking, and any insights that you're able to provide, I would love to have you share, because so many of us have these moments of inspiration that we let pass, and I'm wondering, what is that internal dynamic that actually moves us into action. Good morning, Dennis. Welcome, welcome. We've been talking about impulse, and really inspired impulse, moving from inspiration into inspired action, and looking at, well, where does that emerge? I think it. I kind of want to say it comes from the belly. Maybe that's where that mm, oomph goes, that charge of energy that maybe then populates out or propagates out into the rest of our body or being. So Elaine says the experience also gave you insights to where you are in trusting your heart, as our experiences are our teachers, and let us observe ourselves in the moment. Our experiences are our teachers, exactly, Elaine, and the insights. I think we get to be alert to the insights, and sometimes people choose negative lessons from our experiences. I think we get to look more consciously and deliberately, more mindfully, at the lessons that we choose to take from our experiences, for sure. And I agree that the strength of our observation is part of what shapes those lessons, and those lessons allow us to observe ourselves all at the same time. So I'm I'm excited about this topic, and I thank you for exploring it with me. Uh, I wonder. I think that there is sort of an emergence of the impulse from the gut, like maybe the lower gut, like this force field kind of energy that just says, boom, do it. And I don't know, can you corroborate that for me? I wonder if that's something that you can be in touch with. And I'm certainly going to intend greater awareness around that kind of stuff for myself, to be able to recognize what what the mechanism is, because once we know what the mechanism is, who knows, maybe there are ways uh, to embody it uh, more frequently, if indeed that's beneficial. I don't know if it is. I don't know if we would want to necessarily consciously and deliberately design those impulses. That maybe that's a conversation for another day. In any case, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me and for sharing these wonderful mornings of conversation and connection. And I'm Mira Rubin. This is Maggie, and we go live each weekday morning on Enlightened World Network. And before I go, I just want to see what Elaine said here. I mean to see if there is fear there and have the experience anyway. and build a stronger trust foundation in our inner guidance. I think that that's really what it's about, Elaine. Absolutely, is building this trust foundation around our inner guidance. And sometimes fear can be a guide. So, getting to be able to discern what is resistance, what is fear that is there for a purpose versus fear that is in our reactivity. Anyway, I invite you to check out the other wonderful programming on Enlightened World Network. And I I think I said that we go live each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I so look forward to these sessions with you, and looking forward to seeing you back here again real soon. Lots of love.